Hey guys, welcome back to Life with Mrs. B. Welcome back to another sit down video. I already filmed about 10 minutes of this video and then my camera shut down and said memory card error. So here we go, round two. Today's video, let's jump into it. Today we're going to be talking about why I don't talk to my family. And by that I don't mean my husband and my kids because they live here, so I kind of got to talk to them, but I mean my parents and my grandparents and some other family members. So if you go way back to the start of my YouTube channel, you may remember, if you watched back then, back in the day when I was the Buchanan family, not Life with Mrs. B. But back in the day I did have my parents on my YouTube channel a little bit. But now you don't see them, and why is that? So this whole video could be a little bit emotive, so I hope I'm not going to cry because I'm a big girl and big girls don't cry, but hey ho. And also it could be kind of long, so sorry, but let's dive in and we can talk. You guys can get to know me a little more on a deeper level as opposed to like what I ate for dinner this week. So yeah, let's do this. So when you have seen my family, like my mum and my dad on my YouTube channel, my dad that you guys have seen is not my actual biological dad, so we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But growing up, I grew up with my mum and my biological dad and my two brothers. Growing up, life was very hard for me. Like a lot of people, I think, look at me and think, wow, she must have had such an easy life. She has got it all together. Trust me, I don't. What you see here on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, people only show the highlights, they don't show the crappy bits, so you know, but I don't have it all together, trust me, absolutely trust me. And back in the day I was a hot mess, a hot mess. Like I wasn't particularly hot, but I was a hot mess. But yeah, I had a absolute rubbish childhood. And thinking about it, when I've been thinking the past couple of days what I wanted to say in this video, and see, thinking about all the things I've been through, I've been like, wow, how am I still alive? Like seriously, how am I alive? But growing up, as I said, my mum, my biological dad, my two brothers and me, we lived in a nice-ish house. My mum worked, my dad worked. My dad was an absolute rubbish dad. Like my biological dad, he was terrible. He never took us, I genuinely don't remember ever going to a park with him, going swimming, going to the library. Like I don't remember that. I don't remember him playing board games with us at home, or you know, having a movie night or anything like that. I just don't remember. I think because he didn't do it. I do remember him most nights he would sit in the kitchen and smoke cigarettes and drink beer or lager. I don't know. I don't drink alcohol, so I don't really know anything. It was Tennent's, and I remember it in a can, and that's what he did. Like when he wasn't at work, he sat in the kitchen and he smoked and he drank, and that was what he did. My mum and him split up, I think I was about 10, and we seen him for a little bit after they split up, and then after like a few months or so, my mum told me, look, your dad doesn't want to see you guys anymore, I'm really sorry. And I remember thinking, no, that can't be true, you must be telling lies, like in the nicest way possible. Not that I thought my mum was a liar, but you know, I think I was about 11 at the time. Like what 11-year-old kid wants to believe that their dad doesn't want to see them? So obviously I was like, no, it must be some kind of mix up. No. So one day I knocked on his door. My best friend lived next door to him. I should say, when him and my mum split up, my mum and us, the kids, we moved out of the marital home. And looking back on that, like that was a shady thing for my dad to do. Like that was shady. Like who makes their wife and kids leave their house? But it is what it is, and we left. I don't know if my mum just wanted to get away from him. I don't know. But I was best friends with the girl that lived next door, and we were like, we were still best friends even though I'd moved away. I still lived like in the same town, so like I hadn't moved away, like moved away. And one day I was at her house and I went next door and I knocked on the door, and when he opened it, he seen it was me, and I swear the only thing he said to me was no, and he closed the door. And I was absolutely heartbroken. My wee heart was broken into. Could you guys imagine your dad doing that? Like, even though he was crappy, he was still my biological dad. And it was horrible. I remember going next door and crying my eyes out, and my friend's mum, you know, she was like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. And oh, just thinking about it, it does make you emotional. Like, who would do that to a kid? Like, he didn't even say, you know, oh look, you know, blah 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 blah. He literally just said no and shut the door. Like, that's horrible. And now I've never seen him since then. Like, I've seen him maybe like twice in the street or something, but I've never spoken to him. He's never tried to get in contact with me, that I know, obviously that I know of, but like he's never sought me out on Facebook, or he knows my brother. Like, my brother is his son, but like he knows my brother, like they've worked together in the same building. There's like 1,000 people that work in the building, it's like a warehouse kind of thing. And you know, they've seen each other, so like he didn't try and reach out to him either. He actually passed away recently, my biological dad, not my brother. And like, you know, I found out like fifth hand or something, you know, because obviously I have no relationship and he didn't have any family like beyond us, so it is what it is. It is what it is. But that's why I don't talk to my biological dad, and as I said, he's passed now, so you know, that ship has sailed. I wasn't even really upset when I found out that he passed, I think because he was literally so crappy that I didn't really care. And I don't even think of him as my dad. Like, he was nothing, if that makes any sense. And that maybe sounds a bit mean, but it is what it is. Growing up at home, like up until that point, how can I explain this? I just had a horrible childhood growing up. So there was that, and then there was my mum. My mum got married when, just after I turned 12, to my stepdad, who I call dad. I've called him dad, I think like a couple of years after they got married. I started calling him dad. He is a good dad. as simple as that. My mum had another couple of kids, so if you've seen like my dad in videos, then that's who you've seen. And I call him dad, as I said. But excuse me. But growing up with my mum, oh man, life with my mum was hard. Like, very hard. And you might not see that. You might think, Paula, I've seen videos of you and your mum and you know, yous are happy. Like, what do you mean? Growing up, my mum was never, like, I don't even know where to start really, if I think about it, but she never ever told me that she loved me, ever. Like, I can't remember. Maybe she did obviously tell me, but I genuinely cannot remember a time where she told me she loved me. I can't remember a time where she hugged me. Like, what kind of kid doesn't get a hug off their mum? Like, so weird. So weird. But like, I never remember her hugging me. I never remember her ever telling me she was proud of me. And I mean from like being like 5 or 6, you know, and having proper memories, to like being 30 years old. I just can't tell you. Like, I did excellent on all my exams at school. She never once told me she was proud of me. I honestly don't remember her ever saying she was proud. My dad did, but she never did. I just never felt very loved. And even as an adult, that continued. Like, my mum is an 11 reefer. You'd be like, what? She's one of those people that if you've been to 10 reef, she's been to 11 reef. She's that kind of person. She's very materialistic, and I'm not. If you know me, either in person, like in real life, or through YouTube, like, I'm not about the money. I'm not about, like, I don't live in a fancy house. I don't flash stuff. Well, I don't flash stuff, but like I don't like show stuff off and like flash like a fancy watch, or you know, look at my nice car. Like I drive a second-hand 7-seater, you know, maybe it's third-hand, I don't know. But that's just not me. Nothing was ever good enough for my mum growing up. If you were to ask my mum, she would tell you I was a horrible teenager. Absolutely horrible. I now, with a preteen on my hands, I actually think I was a blooming angel. Like, I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do drugs, I didn't sleep around, like that. I just, you know, I was like a nerd. If you know me from school, like maybe from like second year onward, hung out with a group of people who were kind of nerdy, and I loved it. Like I loved to read. I would walk to school reading a book as I walked to school, and I remember once my neighbour, you know, mentioned it to my mum, you know, Paula, oh, I don't know how she doesn't walk into a lamppost, it was something like that, and my mum was like, why would you read walking to school? And I'm like, well, I can get my extra reading in when I'm walking to school. Obviously it wasn't dangerous, like I wasn't walking along roads or anything, but just nothing was ever good enough for her, ever. I truly just, that's the way I felt. As an adult, I still feel the same. I remember once at a barbecue I had for Sky's birthday, I think Sky was 3 that year, and my mum came and other family members came and friends, and my mum came, like, this is true, this is like, all of this is true, but like this is unbelievable in my mind. She came to my party, she saw the food that I had, she went home to her house, I'm not even kidding, brought food and brought it to my party, and because what I had served wasn't good enough for her, like deadly serious. It wasn't a, you know, oh yeah, you bring some burger, it was a barbecue we had, I don't know if I said that, but you bring some burgers, and you know, oh, you could bring some rolls, or you, it wasn't like that kind of party. I had catered everything myself. I was like 22 or something. I'd catered it all for all these people, and it wasn't good enough for her. That's so sad, like thinking about that, like who would do that to their kids, you know? But that's just the kind of person my mum was. Growing up I had a lot of stuff going on with me. There was a lot of abuse, and that went on until I was about 12. Not from my mum, but that went on until I was about 12, and that was horrific, and I didn't tell anybody about that. And then when I was a little bit older, I think I was about 15 maybe, yeah, 15, I had really bad problems with eating. Terrible, I don't want to bandy about the term eating disorder, but I was very restrictive with what I ate, very restrictive. I would binge and purge, I would starve myself, I was a self-harmer, I was a really bad self-harmer from when I was about 16. I don't know, you can still sometimes see scars on my arms. I don't know what you can see, I can't see here. But like I was quite a bad self-harmer for a couple of years, from about 16 to about 18, I want to say. I was a self-harmer. I got really bad depression, I moved out of my house. Well, let me take you back, let me start back before that. When I was at school, I wanted to go to university and study analytical chemistry. And you're like, Paula, who wants to study analytical chemistry? Apparently me. From when I was about 7 or something, that's what I wanted to study. I know, that's how geeky I have been in my life. And my mum said, that's fantastic, I really hope you go to university, that would be great. That's wonderful, wonderful. And she said that she would support me as best she could when I was at uni, and by support she meant like not charge me rent if I chose to stay at home. So I was like, oh, that's great, you know. And she says, you know, if you get a little job, you can use your money obviously to pay for bus fares and books and, you know, all that kind of thing. So I was like, okay. And then I decided a couple of months, I think it was just after I turned 16, that I didn't want to study analytical chemistry anymore, that I wanted to go and study dance. And my mum was absolutely like, oh, she tore it down. She tore it down, honestly. She said it was the worst decision I would ever make in my life, that she would not support me at all, and that if I chose to go and study that at college, I think I was thinking about going to Telford and studying there, and she said that if I did that, she would not support me at all. She would charge me rent, and just, she wouldn't be helpful. And I thought, do you know what, screw you. And like the next day I went into school and I said to the teachers, like, I'm not coming back, I'm 16, I'm not coming back to school. And I did. I didn't go back to school, and that was it. And that was like kind of as a, I don't know, like a screw you at my mum, honestly. And I didn't go back to school. I never went to college, I never went to uni. I got a full-time job and I worked my butt off, and then I moved out of my mum's house when I was almost 17 with my boyfriend at the time, and I quickly moved back home because he was an absolute fool. He was an idiot, very abusive. So it was kind of, where do I stay? Do I stay with this abusive boyfriend, or do I go home to my toxic mother? I chose to go home to my toxic mother for some reason, because that was the less of the two evils, I guess. I went home, and honestly the toxicity from my mum just continued, and I moved out pretty quickly after that. Me and Thomas moved in together when we were, what was I think I was 19 when me and Thomas moved in together. And me and Thomas have obviously been together, we were together before I was 19. We got together just as soon as I turned 18, and we've been together ever since. As I said, I'll be 31 soon, so I'm getting old. And even as an adult, like, you know, I spoke about just nothing was ever good enough for my mum. She said she would pay on my wedding day, that she would, like for my wedding, that she would pay for the wedding cake, which she never done. And then she changed her mind and said she would pay for the bridesmaids dresses, which she never done. I picked really cheap wedding bridesmaids dresses, you know, because she said she would pay for them. I didn't want to like take the mick and pick bridesmaids dresses that were like £300 a pop. I picked bridesmaids dresses that were like £100, and she didn't pay for them. She just conveniently forgot, even though I said, you know, quite a few times, you know, look, that's the dresses in, they need paid for, I paid the deposit myself, you know, they need paid for, we can pick them up. And she was like, oh, that's great. Or she would just ignore me. And then after a couple of times, Thomas was like, Paula, she's not going to pay for them, we just need to pay for them. So I had to pay for them myself. Nothing's ever good enough for her. If she comes around here, she's very, like, in the past she's been like, oh, is that the floor you went with? Like, seriously, I'm a grown butted woman in my own house with my husband and my kids and my dog and my YouTube channel. I don't need that toxicity in my life. Every time as an adult I would be with my mum, either on the phone or in person, I would come away from the situation feeling like I had done 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. Like, seriously, like, I would feel so drained physically and emotionally. I would have tension headaches, stress headaches. I would be snappy to Thomas and the kids because I was feeling crap. So, like, you know, when they did something, you know, it just wasn't great. So essentially that is the reason I don't talk to my mum anymore. Unfortunately, you know, my mum and my dad kind of come as a package, so, you know, I don't have a relationship with my mum at all now, and it is what it is. I feel personally like it's sad, but at the same time I actually feel very, very freed, very, like, stress-free. I feel a lot happier, as sad as that is, without having my mum in my life. Yeah, you need to know that you're an adult. You know, I mean, you might be a kid watching this, hopefully you're not a kid, but like, you're an adult. You choose who you want to have in your life. If people don't make you happy, don't have them in your life. It's as simple as that. If people make you happy, surround yourself with them, be with them all the time. And my mum doesn't do that for me, so I just, we're not together. But they're not in my life, and that's it really. It's sad, it hurts me that my mum has never told me she's proud of me, that she's never told me she loved me, that she's never cuddled me, she's never kissed me. That's so sad, so sad. Even like on my wedding day, she didn't even kiss me or cuddle me or even like nothing. And it's just like, that's just very sad. What else can I say about it apart from that? It is what it is. My mom does still text me every while, once in a while, and I just don't reply because I don't want to get into it. Like, even when I told her that I'd taken the kids out of school, you know, she like smacked that down and she rained on that parade, and she told me like it was terrible, it was a bad choice to make. Why would I do that? Do I not trust the school system? She worked in schools at the time, you know, what was wrong with school, and you know, like my kids were going to be stupid, things like that. She just made it very clear that she didn't think that was a good idea, and obviously I was like, well, they're my kids, bye. So yeah, it's just things like that. Like, I just don't need that negativity in my life. I surround myself with positive people, and if someone was being like that to you and they were your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you would kick them to the curb. You wouldn't have them in your life. You would say, well, bye, loser, see you later, I deserve better than that. So what makes it different because they're a parent, just because they're blood? Nah, I don't think so. Moving on to my grandparents. Why do I not talk to my grandparents? I don't talk to any of my family, if you can't tell. My grandparents are my mum's mum and dad. As I said, my biological dad didn't really have anyone, and my stepdad, his parents died long ago. So why don't I talk to my grandparents? Well, as I told you before, I suffered abuse when I was younger, which was absolutely horrific, absolutely. I never told anyone, ever. And I can't believe that I'm actually sitting here on YouTube telling like 500 people or however many people will watch this video. I'm not going to go into it, I'm not. As I said, I never told anyone. I told Thomas about 8 years ago, so we had already been together for years. I told him, and the reason I told him was we had a lot of stuff going on and it was very relevant to what was going on, and I told him, you know, like, this is why I'm feeling this way because this is what actually happened. And he said to me, it was such and such, wasn't it? And I said, yeah. And he said, I knew. Which was so sad. He then told my grandparents, you know, look, this person has done this, they are not welcome in our home, they are not welcome around my child, because we only had Sky, no, we had Sky and Argyll, children then. They're not welcome at all. End of story. My grandparents, I was kind of angry with Thomas for telling them, because that wasn't his thing to share, it was my thing to share. But obviously I understand why he told them, because he said, look, this person is not welcome in our house, do not, you know, or around us, blah blah blah. And they said, well, if you've got a problem, you know, that's your problem, you take it with them, but that, you know, that shouldn't stop them seeing their family and blah blah blah. And he said, actually it does. And then, you know, he said, this is what happened, this is why this person is not allowed here. And they came round to my house and they said to me, you know, this is what Thomas has just told us, is this true? And I said, it is true, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And my gran, I remember it so clearly, she said to me, you are a liar. That never happened. You are telling lies. That's what she said to me. She did that in my face, and I remember I was just crying. I was like, why would I lie? Like, I have nothing to gain from this. I never made it to the police. I wasn't like smearing people's names in a paper or on Facebook or MySpace or whatever it was about at the time. I wasn't telling people. I never told anyone apart from Thomas. What would I have to gain from lying? Nothing. And she just didn't believe me. She says, I do not believe you, you are a liar. And that's that. I was just so angry. Like, me and my gran had a fantastic relationship. I loved her more than my mum, like deadly serious. And when my mum was being horrible, I would go to her house, and I just have lots of lovely memories with my grandparents, lots of lovely memories with them, and they're good people, and that just saddens me that they like just turned around and said that to my face, like, you're a liar, which I'm not. As I said, I have nothing to gain at all, and because of that we don't speak. Obviously I can't have someone in my life who thinks I would make up abuse and lie about it for no gain. I just can't have someone like that in my life. And when I see my gran and my granda didn't call me a liar, but I imagine he was probably thinking it as well, if that was my gran's thoughts. When I see them, you know, I say hello to them. I do. I'll chat with them, and then I walk away, and that's it. I cannot have someone in my life that thinks I'm a liar. If they were to turn around today and say, Paula, I'm really sorry, all those years ago I should have believed you, I'm so sorry, can you forgive me? I would say yes, that's it, we're BFFs again. It would be as simple as that. So you might be thinking, well, why not just forgive and forget them, Paula, just move on? Because I can't have around me or my children someone who, when told such a serious thing, doesn't believe me, calls me a liar, says that I'm making this up for attention or whatever it is, or I'm confused. That was another thing, I was told you're confused, it must have been someone else. And obviously it wasn't. So I can't have someone like that in my life. I can't forgive that if they are not willing to say, actually, I was wrong. I just can't do it. So I don't have my grandparents in my life either, and it's so sad because I love them so much. And as I said, if they apologised, I would be there in 2 seconds flat. And I would totally forgive and forget if they apologised, if they said, actually, I do believe you, Paula, I am so sorry. I don't talk to my aunt for the same reason. On my mum's side, she also called me a liar, so she didn't believe me, and it is what it is, you know. What you gonna do? There's not much I can do. So really it's just me and Thomas and our kids. We don't have anyone to babysit our kids, like, ever. I need to like pay for a babysitter, which is hard because you need to build up trust with someone. So yeah, it's hard, but that is essentially my story of why I don't talk with my family. I don't hope you've enjoyed it, because that's kind of weird, but I hope you've got to know me on a little bit of a deeper level. I hope you don't like change your opinion of me in a bad way. I hope that you look at me and you think, wow, she has been through depression, I was on medication, she has been through self-harm, she's been through eating things, she has suffered abuse, she had a biological father that literally didn't want her, she has a mother who showed no emotional love or like that kind of thing. But I hope you see this and you think, wow, she's overcome all of that, I can do it too. Or, you know, I've not even got a tenth of that much going on, I will be fine. So I hope that is kind of what this video gives you. I also hope that you kind of know me a little bit better now, and you maybe understand why I don't have family in my videos. Sometimes people say, oh, do you not go with your mums for like Sunday dinner? Or no, I don't. And hopefully that kind of explains why. Thanks very much for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, do give it a thumbs up. Comments will be off because YouTube hates me, but you can pop over to Instagram and chat with me there, or you can leave a comment on my community tab, or you can send me a DM, whatever you want, guys. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all are doing very well in this lockdown, and I will see you next time. Bye.